you go with defining your territory? How did you go with writing down the spheres of influence you're actually passionate about? I do want to remind you, you are called to ministry. Ministry in whatever sphere you're passionate about. Your work is going to be ministry. Okay, you don't work for the money, but you really work to minister, to bring kingdom of heaven down with the agenda of love, the agenda of serving, the agenda of changing the atmosphere through your prayers and through the authority you have in the hands of Jesus. So I encourage you to keep thinking about these spheres, to keep thinking about that message, to just keep stirring it in your heart so it actually changes your thinking, and it'll empower you to just really be of great impact to many, many people's lives. So now we're going to do another activity in a minute, but I want to take you through the questionnaire first, and just so you know exactly what you're doing. So we're going deeper and deeper, and we're just kind of honing things in more and more. As you notice, you should start seeing a red thread come up as you go through the questionnaire. What do I mean with that? Things should start pop up over and over again. So they are definitely those things that have something to do with your calling and your destiny. So let's have a look at the questionnaire. Your first question in the questionnaire is, what have I always been good at? So that's talking about your gifts, your talents, your strengths. That should be easy for you to fill out because you looked at your strengths before. The next question is, what needs do I care about most? So I want to explain that a little bit. What do I mean with this? What really gets you? What makes you want to cry when you see it, when you hear about it? A friend of mine, when she sees those advertisements on TV about World Vision and the children in Africa and just World Vision ads, she literally starts crying. Why? Because that's what she's really passionate about. It gets her at the inside. It touches her heart. It touches her inner being. So that's one of the things she really, really cares about. What is it for you? Is it maybe the poor and needy? Is it maybe the people in the VIPs that you really have a heart to impact them and just see a change in their life? What needs do I care about most? For me, it's when I see people in Christian circles that are just walking lukewarm, that are not fully walking with the Lord. I'm just so passionate to see people pursue 100% what God has for them, and to just see them get a real revelation of the truth of God and the realities of heaven and the Father heart of God. So it really gets me, and I just want to do something about it, and I want to talk to them, and I just want to see revelation happen in their life. So that's one thing I really care about. So what is it for you? Have a think about it. What gets you? What touches your emotions, that you just want to do something about it and really just bring a change in that area? The next question, what makes you feel most fulfilled? So when you do it, something that fulfills you. Have a think of the last few years. What was something you did in the last few years you absolutely loved doing? You're like, oh man, I could do this for the rest of my life. I want to do this again. Have a think of things that really just excited you when you did them, and you're like working in your strengths, and you just delivered something really, really good. What are those things that make you most fulfilled when you do them, that excite you, that you fulfill you, that you feel like, oh yeah, I've done that really, really well? Write those things down under that question. The next question, which probably is similar to the last one, what do you love to do most? So if you gravitate on doing things, what would you do? What do you love to do most? The next question, what do you most want to be remembered for? So I'm talking about, what legacy do you want to leave? When you're gone, what do you want people to talk about when they think about you? What what do you want them to say? What do you want them to remember? What do you want them to just pull out of your life, so to say? Yeah, so I'll just write those things down. Then our next question is, what game did you always play as a child? You'd be like, why is this in the questionnaire? This is so weird. I tell you why. Because your destiny, your calling was already in you, right from where you were born. It was already in there. So I want you to look back and think about what you played when you were a kid. And we're not talking about tag, because we all played tag, and we probably all played hide and seek. But for myself, when I couldn't sleep, you know what I did? I was a little girl that loved to have her teddies in bed. So I had around 12 teddies all around me in bed. And you know what I do when I couldn't sleep? I line them up in a semicircle and I teach them. And I always did that. And I really enjoyed teaching my teddy bears. And what is my calling? I'm an equipper. I'm a trainer. I'm a discipler. I'm a teacher. So right when I was a kid, it was in me. I met somebody else, and he was into Lego. All he always ever wanted to do was Lego. And his heart, he's now working in the area of engineering, which means it's building, it's doing things. So it was already there from when he was a kid. I met somebody else, and she always played shop, but she was never the person going shopping. She was always the manager of her little shop. And so she would love to play shop and manage people and work with the customers, and she source new things. She always played shop like that. She was the manager, she was the owner of the shop, and she had a real passion and heart for business. So have a think of what you loved to play when you were a kid. What did you gravitate to when you were by yourself? What did you gravitate to maybe when you were around friends? Okay? If nothing comes to your mind, that's fine. You just leave it blank. But isn't that exciting to know, hey, our destiny, our calling, it was already in there. It was already what we gravitated to when we were children. And we love to play just as a plaything. And it's actually related to what God is wanting us to do for our futures. Now, our next question, what have others encouraged you to do? So have a think of what have others told you you would be great at. Why do I put this question in there? Because sometimes people see things we don't see. I actually am a teacher by trade, so I'm a primary school teacher. And I tell you one thing, I never wanted to be a teacher. I was probably the worst student when I was in high school. I never wanted to be a teacher. And one day, my mom said to me, you would be a really, really, really good teacher. And something just stuck with me. I couldn't get it out of my head. So she saw something in me which I didn't see at all. So what have others encouraged you to do? I want you to write that down. Now, our next question. Have you had any life calling verses, any scriptures that are, so to say, life calling verses? What am I talking about with this? So think about, have you had scriptures that either you're always drawn to, certain verses in the Bible that you always drawn to them, so write them down. Or have you had people give you the same scripture over and over again? So write those down. And I call them life calling verses. They'll be the ones you can draw back onto. One of the things that has been given to me over and over again by people in different nations is Joshua 1:8, be strong and courageous, don't be afraid. And so I draw of that. That's one of my life calling verses. I just draw of that. So write those things down that come to your mind. The scriptures you always get drawn to, or people have just spoken into your life over and over and over again. Now the last question. Have you had any prophetic words? So I want you to think about, have you had any prophetic words regards your future? And I want you to write them down in that questionnaire. And I encourage you, if you don't have a booklet with your prophetic words, get one started. Or you can have a file, a document on your computer. put all your prophetic words in one place. Just collect them. Write them down when somebody gives you a prophetic word straight away, and collect them in the same place so you have it all together. I've got a little booklet. Actually, I've got 2 booklets now, and that's where I collect my prophetic words. And you know what's great about these booklets? When the times of discouragement come, when the times of doubt come, that's what I go back to. That's when I go back and read all these prophetic words, and it brings me life again. It gives me excitement about the future again. It just stirs me in a new way. And so make sure you do that. You collect all these prophetic words and put them in one place where you can draw from them when you need to, where you can draw from them when you're discouraged, where you can draw from them when you're not sure what to do next. But right now, I want you to write those words, prophetic words, in your workbook as well. And as you look through that questionnaire, you should start again seeing that red thread come up. You should start seeing things pop up again. You should start seeing some things you have written down in the questionnaire actually relating to some of the dreams you've written down in the beginning. Some of the things you've written in the questionnaire should have popped up in your strengths as well, and your strengths should have come up. So you should see things pop up over and over again and see that red thread which is related to the heart of God for your life. So enjoy doing the questionnaire, have fun with it, take your time, prayerfully take your time and get into the questions.